The sudden silence immediately catches his attention. His smile disappears as instinct tells him something isn't right. A raven suddenly bursts into the sky with a loud warning call, making the quiet forest feel even more unsettling. A cold breeze moves through the forest. Branches sway overhead, and every sound seems louder than before. Without realizing it, someone, or something, appears to be watching his every move from deep inside the forest. He notices fresh footprints crossing the trail and decides to take a closer look. At first, everything seems normal. These are fresh deer tracks, something common in this national park. Nearby, much larger elk tracks continue in the same direction, showing that many animals have recently passed through this area. But then, everything changes. A massive footprint appears in the mud, far larger than anything he expected. He places his hand next to the track. The footprint is almost twice the size of his hand. Whatever made it is enormous. For the first time that morning, fear begins to replace curiosity. He realizes he may not be alone in these woods. From this point on, every step becomes slower. His eyes constantly search the forest, knowing that a large bear could be much closer than he realizes. Without warning, a loud crack echoes through the forest. He freezes instantly, listening carefully. He slowly turns toward the noise. Every bush and every shadow suddenly feels like a possible hiding place. A second branch snaps, this time much closer. Whatever made the sound is moving. His heart races. Every instinct tells him to run, but he forces himself to stay where he is. The bushes begin to move. Something large is hidden just beyond the trail. For just a moment, he catches sight of a massive shadow moving silently between the trees. Every second feels longer than the last. The unknown creature is finally about to reveal itself. Then it happens. A massive grizzly bear calmly steps onto the trail only a short distance away. For one unforgettable moment, both human and bear stand perfectly still. Neither moves. Neither looks away. The next decision could mean the difference between life and death. The grizzly doesn't attack. Instead, it quietly studies the stranger standing in front of it, trying to understand whether he is a threat. Standing nearly 8 feet tall and weighing hundreds of pounds, the grizzly's strength is almost impossible to imagine. Fear takes over his body. Every instinct tells him to run, but he forces himself to remain completely still. The world seems to slow down. All he can hear is his own heartbeat echoing inside his chest. The bear raises its nose and begins collecting information through scent. A bear's sense of smell is one of the strongest in the animal kingdom. Suddenly, the wind changes direction, carrying the photographer's scent directly toward the bear. Now the bear knows exactly where the human is. It watches carefully, but still doesn't charge. His body wants to run. But deep down, he remembers something that could save his life. Before entering the park, a ranger gave an important safety briefing, advice that now becomes incredibly valuable. The ranger explained one simple rule: if you unexpectedly encounter a grizzly bear, running can trigger its natural instinct to chase. Staying calm may give you the best chance to avoid an attack. The memory fades, and reality returns. The grizzly is still standing there, watching every movement. He forces himself to breathe slowly. Staying calm is no longer just good advice. It may be the only thing keeping the situation under control. In a calm voice, he quietly speaks to the bear. He wants the animal to recognize him as a human, not as prey. The bear doesn't seem angry. Instead, it appears curious, carefully studying the unusual visitor. Bears rely on their incredible senses. They gather information using smell, hearing, and movement long before making any decision. A grizzly's nose is thousands of times more sensitive than a human's. Long before it sees danger, it can often smell it. He carefully stands upright, making himself appear larger while avoiding any movement that might seem threatening. Neither side wants conflict. Human and bear simply watch each other, each trying to understand the other's intentions. Then the bear takes one slow step forward. The distance between them grows even smaller. Every step matters. With only a short distance now separating them, one wrong decision could change everything. Although he appears calm on the outside, his hands tell a different story. Fear is taking hold, but he refuses to panic. The forest itself seems to stop breathing. Every living creature has gone silent, leaving only two figures facing each other. Then, out of nowhere, a tiny squirrel races across the trail, briefly interrupting the tense standoff. For just a moment, the bear's attention shifts. Even the smallest movement can catch the eye of such a powerful animal. He resists every instinct to move. Remaining calm may be the most important decision he has made all day. At this moment, there are two possible choices. One could end in disaster. The other could save his life. If he runs, the sudden movement could trigger the bear's natural chase instinct, turning a tense encounter into a dangerous pursuit. But by staying calm and moving slowly, he gives the bear no reason to see him as something to chase. Fortunately, this isn't the path where panic wins. He stays calm, and the encounter continues without sudden movement. But just when the situation begins to stabilize, someone else unknowingly walks straight toward the danger. Just as the standoff reaches its most delicate moment, another voice echoes through the forest. Someone else is approaching, completely unaware of the danger. The bear immediately notices the unfamiliar sound. Its attention shifts for the first time since the encounter began. The photographer suddenly realizes another hiker is walking straight into the danger zone. The second hiker enjoys the peaceful trail, completely unaware that only a few steps ahead stands one of North America's most powerful predators. In an instant, the peaceful hike becomes a nightmare. The hiker freezes as he comes face to face with the enormous grizzly. Fear completely takes over. His breathing becomes rapid, and his instincts begin to overpower his judgment. Without thinking, the hiker turns and runs, the one action wildlife experts warn against during a close bear encounter. The sudden movement instantly grabs the bear's attention. Its powerful body prepares to move. The bear bursts forward with astonishing speed. In just seconds, the distance between them begins to disappear. Many people don't realize that a grizzly bear can sprint much faster than even the fastest human. Running rarely gives someone a chance to escape. The grizzly accelerates with astonishing power. Within seconds, it covers ground that would take a human much longer to cross. Knowing what could happen next, the photographer shouts as loudly as he can, hoping the frightened hiker will hear him in time. The hiker hears the warning. Confused but desperate, he hesitates and begins slowing his pace. As the running stops, the bear also begins to slow down. The intense chase instinct quickly fades. Instead of attacking, the grizzly simply watches. Its behavior suggests caution, not a desire to hunt. Wildlife experts explain that not every bear encounter is the same. Understanding the bear's behavior is extremely important. A defensive bear usually reacts because it feels threatened or is protecting cubs, food, or personal space. A predatory bear behaves very differently. It quietly follows potential prey rather than reacting to surprise. Back in the real encounter, everyone remains still. The forest grows quiet once again. Speaking softly, the photographer tells the other hiker not to move suddenly. At this moment, staying calm is the safest choice. The frightened hiker slowly regains control of his breathing. Panic begins to fade as he follows the photographer's calm instructions. The grizzly carefully sniffs the air once more, collecting information before deciding what to do next. Without any sudden movement from the hikers, the bear gradually relaxes. The immediate sense of danger begins to disappear. The bear no longer focuses entirely on the hikers. Its attention shifts toward something hidden within the forest. Then the truth is finally revealed. Two tiny bear cubs quietly emerge from the trees. The photographer immediately understands. The grizzly was never hunting them, it was simply protecting its young. Like any parent, the mother bear's only priority is keeping her cubs safe. Confident that her cubs are no longer in danger, the mother quietly leads her family back into the wilderness. As the bears disappear among the trees, the sounds of nature slowly return. The forest breathes once again. Without saying a word, both hikers realize how close they came to disaster, and how staying calm may have saved their lives. The story begins in the breathtaking wilderness of Glacier National Park, Montana. As the sun rises over towering mountains and endless forests, everything appears peaceful and untouched. A lone wildlife photographer drives deep into the mountains, unaware that one decision today will determine whether he survives his encounter with one of North America's most powerful predators. He arrives at an empty trailhead. No other hikers are around. The forest ahead looks calm, quiet, and inviting. Confident and experienced, the photographer prepares for another day of capturing nature's beauty. Before entering the wilderness, he carefully checks all of his gear, making sure everything is ready for a long hike. He studies the trail map and chooses a route that leads far into the backcountry, where wildlife is often seen. With camera in hand, he begins hiking into the dense forest, surrounded by towering trees and fresh mountain air. The wilderness is alive with beauty. Birds sing overhead, butterflies drift through wildflowers, and every corner of the forest seems full of life. He stops frequently to photograph flowers, wildlife, and breathtaking scenery, completely relaxed and enjoying the peaceful morning. But then, something changes. The birds suddenly stop singing. The forest falls completely silent, and an uneasy feeling begins to settle in. Even after the bears disappear, the hikers don't move immediately. They patiently wait, making sure the mother bear and her cubs are safely gone. Rather than turning their backs, they slowly create distance, leaving the area calmly and respectfully. Step by step, they leave the encounter behind, grateful that neither people nor wildlife were harmed. Finally, they emerge from the forest, where the open trailhead brings a feeling of safety and relief. The tension finally melts away. Safe at the trailhead, both hikers take a moment to appreciate just how fortunate they were. A park ranger notices their shaken expressions and asks what happened deep inside the forest. Together, they explain exactly where the encounter took place, helping park staff keep future hikers informed. The ranger carefully reconstructs the encounter, explaining each moment and why the bear behaved the way it did. The ranger explains that this was a defensive encounter. The bear wasn't hunting, it was simply protecting its cubs. Only after the encounter does the full picture become clear. Hidden behind the bushes were two young cubs, the real reason the mother bear stood her ground. The ranger explains that sudden movement can trigger a bear's instinct to chase. Remaining calm often prevents the situation from becoming more dangerous. Many people believe they can outrun a bear. In reality, a grizzly can sprint far faster than even most trained athletes. Long before a bear ever sees you, it may already smell you, hear your footsteps, and understand exactly where you are. Stay calm. Speak softly. Back away slowly. Give the bear space, and never block its escape route. Many dangerous encounters happen because of simple mistakes that can easily be avoided with preparation and awareness. When exploring bear country, carrying the right equipment can greatly improve your safety and confidence. Wild animals are not our enemies. They are an important part of nature, deserving both respect and distance. As the day comes to an end, the photographer leaves the mountains with a story he will never forget. He pauses one last time to look back at the wilderness, now seeing it with greater respect than ever before. Every moment of the encounter replays in his mind, from fear and uncertainty to understanding and respect. The greatest lesson wasn't about escaping danger. It was about understanding why the bear behaved the way it did. If you suddenly found yourself standing just 30 feet from a wild grizzly, would you stay calm, or would fear take over? Nature is powerful, unpredictable, and deserving of our respect. The more we understand wildlife, the safer both humans and animals can be. Thank you for watching, and remember, respect nature, stay calm, and stay safe.